According to the World Bank, Nigeria, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and Ethiopia have the biggest electricity access deficits, with Ethiopia replacing India in the top three. This was stated in the World Bank's recently released Tracking SDGs as Sustainable Development Goal 7, the Energy Progress Report. The World Bank said unless efforts are scaled up significantly in countries with the largest deficits, the world will still see a shortfall of ensuring universal access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy by 2030. Arise business analyst Chika Mbono joins us to discuss further. Chika, good morning to you.
Good morning today. How are you today?
Fine, thank you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. What do you make of those numbers? Nigeria,
inglorious league table. Yeah?
Yeah.
Always coming fresh from the bottom.
It's just, again, I don't know.
You know, for the champion in the unelectrified countries.
Right.
90 million Nigerians, you know, without electricity, you know, we're beating Congo and then Ethiopia. Ethiopia replaced India as number 3, you know. And the interesting thing about this is that they tell us that these are countries that actually have either crisis. Most of half of the countries they have crisis,
yes,
you know, or war-torn or wars in their country. So you can imagine why the kind of group that we belong to. So it's not surprising that we're in this league, we're coming first in this league table, but it's also sad, very sad.
Amid the COVID challenges that we're facing, is there any way to get some kind of improvement in closing these gaps, these deficits?
Is the realization that this is major for our country. You know, as I pondered over this report, since I saw it, you know, I just talked about the fact that in 1999 we had the shot at civilian administration.
Yes. And
I do recall I was in the Transcorp Hall where the late Bola Igedem, who was Minister of Power, you know, was speaking to us. I think the first outing, you know, as a Minister of Power, and he came in there and said within 2 years of coming to taking over, he's going to like improve the megawatt from something to something. The whole hall blew out and clapping for him. But some of us who knew the challenges in the power sector knew that it was not attainable. And we're not surprised, therefore, that didn't happen. So look at from 1999 to today.
Right.
Has anything changed?
Exactly.
We moved from Obasanjo administration to Yar'Adua administration to Gulu administration to our current president administration, and he's 6 years into the tenure. And what magic is going to happen in the last 2 years? I don't think anything much is going to change. So we're still struggling with the 3,000. Sometimes it goes down to 2,000. Sometimes it goes down to 1,000 something.
The megawatts, yeah.
Megawatts. Right. You know, sometimes it goes down to 4,000. You know, so much stranded power. The same problems that seem to have not been found it easy to overcome. I think that power is so essential for Nigeria that we should declare a power emergency.
Right, exactly. I agree. Yes.
From a National Assembly, you know, these are the kind of things they should be focusing on. You know, power is very pervasive, is impactful. We're talking about unemployment. The number one problem for SMEs, who are the largest employer of labor in Nigeria, is power. The largest problem for manufacturing sector in Nigeria is power. You know, so if power problems are solved, a lot of problems, even security.
Right.
A lot of security problems are because of what? Power.
Right.
So if power problem is solved, health. You know, I had a friend of mine who had preterm babies, and they lost the babies because of what? They're supposed to be in an incubator.
Right.
And they didn't have enough power.
Wow, that's true.
You can imagine the tragedy to the family. You know, a lot of health issues, power. So power is so pervasive to our lifestyle that the National Assembly, for example, should have declared a power emergency all this while. The government in power should have declared power emergency, and everything should be thrown at power to make sure the power is solved. So it's not the issue of COVID. We can't hide under the issue of COVID and start blaming COVID. The power problem has been there, and it's still there. We still have national power collapse, you know, regularly.
The grid.
The grid collapse. I think that the balance of power, you know, it has not been backed up by the government support, government focus on it. I think that There should be a power emergency, power, it's focused every week, there's briefing, something's happening.
Right.
So let us know what is happening in power. Because of the fact that if you solve the power problem in this country, other things will just, fall in place.
Fantastic. What do you make of can the 6 million metering gap be closed by the time Buhari leaves office?
I think there are about 3 or 4 levels, level 0 now. Because estimated billing has a major issue in the country. And then you also find that in the power value chain, there's a lot of leakage. Remember, we said that the discos provide the liquidity for the whole system.
Yes.
So the power that comes from the GENCOs passes through the transmission company up to the discos, should actually go to our houses, the companies, who pay the money and it goes back to the system. But what happens is that there's a lot of leakage because of the fact that they don't have shortage of meters. The government had tried so many programs to get this meter into the hands of people.
Right.
One of them was this MAP program, but it didn't work. So the government had this program of national mass metering program that's fully funded, and so that people will have meters in their houses, and so that will enable the system, provide liquidity required, eliminate leakages, and we'll make progress in that respect. See, the houses are documented. The consumption of electricity are documented. It's a project management issue. If it's done properly, the discos are privately led companies with sincerity of purpose, because sometimes I doubt whether they're very sincere in the process because of the fact that some of them are profiting from the estimated billing. Right. So, what's that short-term gain? Let everybody focus and make sure that meters are deployed to the houses, to the commercial venue locations, and so that we have the right readings and the right amounts are paid. It's better for the system in the long run. I think if you focus on that, this will be achieved.
Fantastic. I think the tariff review is next month, July. I guess, what's your thoughts on appropriate pricing for power?
What's happened in the past is that it hasn't been priced up properly. Discos whatever the money they collect. They enable us pay the GENCOs. For GENCOs to pay the gas people, the federal government has been subsidizing that. But that should not happen. As I told you here, I'm not an apostle of subsidy in the system.
Right.
And so the service reflective tariffs came into play. But you see, this is the first time you're matching payments with level of service. And it says that if the band that you are now, you don't get enough power. I think 20 hours and above is the maximum for a day. Now, those in that band will pay the highest rates. And the lowest rate, I think, 8 hours a day or such. Yeah. Now, if you don't get the service in your band that is commensurate with the amount you're paying, you're debanded. You're downgraded.
Right.
Now, if you're also getting a service that's more than whatever, you're pushed up.
Right.
And that's where it's supposed to be. But as I said earlier on, also in this program, that the problem with Nigeria is that we will collect the money first without the monitoring system in place. So we have not put the monitoring system in place to make sure that consumers like us who are paying this, there's a way to feed back to the system that we're not getting that service. And that's the next level of this.
Fantastic. I want to ask you about the AFCFTA. The projections that 560 billion in exports for the continent. Chika, how do we? I mean, it sounds good, but
yeah, as I read through the document for the AFCFTA, of course, written by professionals, the figures are very good. So many 30 million Africans that will be lifted up from extreme poverty. Another 68 million that will be, who earn below $560 a day, will be upgraded. There's something for everybody. 560 billion, as you mentioned now, in exports for Africa, because Africa becomes one market.
Yes.
Because now, one of the critical success factors in the process is what? Is the local content support. And then, or better say, the rule of destination,
yes,
driven by local content, which says that there must be a minimum amount of local content in anything that you're exporting for you to qualify for the benefits of the AFCFTA.
Okay.
That's fundamental.
Yes.
So you don't go to China or India or one of them and just bring some product and they package it and start exporting to Nigeria because of the fact that 90% of duties are away from 90% of items. That should not happen. So the market is large there. It's not in doubt. African wealth is growing, per capita income is growing. So African market is large, it's growing. So it's good for us. Now, so that brings it down home for Nigeria. How do we play? How do we play? We just talked about power.
Yes.
Our manufacturing products competitive? That's a problem.
Right.
About 40% of the cost of, even more than 50% of the cost of things manufactured in Nigeria have elements of power in them.
Right.
Have elements of logistics in them. Because if you survive power, you go to a proper port to bring your raw materials in.
The ports.
You know?
Yes.
You look at the roads. Look at the roads.
Right.
You know, so there are costs that ordinarily in other countries like Ghana that you don't have to, grapple with. But they are just here. And so my fear at the end of the day is that, even though the market is there for us, will Nigeria products be very competitive? Especially with all these limiting factors we already talked about. So that for me, that's what it is. But the market is expanding, Africa is growing, the concept is good, the rule of destination is very important,
yes.
And rule of origin is very important to drive local content.
Fantastic. We talked about this in our last segment. I want to get your thoughts. What do you make of the World Bank's revision, GDP revision to 1.8%?
From 1.1 to 1.8 for 2021.
Yes.
See, coming from negative 1.92 for 2020.
Yes.
I'm not surprised, first of all, that the projections keep evolving. Because, we're in unusual times.
Yes.
And nobody could project, there was no model there that you could plug in COVID and it will give you the iteration of what will play out as the GDP.
Right.
The issue is that there are some factors around there for us as a country. Well, the first one is what? The price of oil.
Right.
Remember we talked about this program that
Indeed.
you can actually sleep and wake up, analyze the Nigerian economy. You just say, what's the price of oil?
And then you go from there.
They tell me price of oil.
Yeah.
I can analyze the Nigerian economy. So one of the fundamental things is the Nigerian price of oil should continue to hang it up there. $70 per barrel, above $70 per barrel to help us. The other thing talked about is the oil reforms.
Right.
The National Assembly have promised that the two committees are meeting on the PIB. Hopefully, in the next 60 days, PIB will be signed. That kind of reform, that's another tick. The other thing has to be the exchange rate system.
Right. You've talked about that.
Yeah, I talked about it already in the process. CBS is gravitating to that. So we hope that, and then the vaccine rollout. And what happens? Remember I said in this program already?
Yes.
That the whole world can only be okay when every country in the world is okay.
Right.
Because you see what's happening in India and some other countries, and we have a lot of traffic between Nigeria and India.
Yeah.
They are the largest buyer of our oil. Another trade transaction happened between us. So all those put in the basket will help. I'm just saying that as the days unfold, the primary sentiments are getting better. That's why they moved the projection up to 1.8.
Fantastic stuff. Arise business analyst Chika Mbono. Chika, as always, thank you so much for taking us through those headlines.